The film opens in the depths of a dense jungle, where we find Soldier Chow trying to relieve himself. Suddenly, he's startled by a rustling sound from the surrounding undergrowth. Believing it's a practical joke by his fellow soldiers, Chow calls out to the unseen prankster, asking them to show themselves. However, a hand emerges from the undergrowth, revealing itself to belong to a zombie. In a panic, Chow cries out for assistance, but he's quickly overpowered and dies. Shifting from the jungle's eerie isolation, the story moves to a bustling army base. Here, the soldiers partake in a flag-hoisting ceremony, a solemn symbol of their Singaporean identity. All but one, that is, our protagonist Caillou, a clumsy soldier interested in his mobile game much more than the national ceremony. His friend Tarzan urges him to show respect, but his pleas are ignored. Caillou is so engrossed in his game that he's caught off guard when the game unexpectedly freezes. His outburst of frustration is swiftly followed by a rebuke from Commander Lee, who admonishes the soldier for his insubordinate conduct. During the flag ceremony, Caillou's lack of discipline extends to his treatment of his rifle, which he dismissively leaves lying around. A severe breach of protocol, Commander Lee rebukes him, referring to the weapon as his wife to highlight its significance. Caillou tries to justify his behavior by reminding Lee that he's a non-combat clerk. But his excuse is dismissed when Caillou and Tarzan are unable to produce their ID tags, crucial for identification if they were to fall in battle. Lee criticizes them further. Caillou brushes off the importance of the tags, stating there's no war to worry about as Singapore is safe. Attempting to retrieve his confiscated mobile phone, Caillou's sneaky move is spotted by Lee, who punishes him by ordering physical exercise. However, Caillou's struggle to perform even a simple chin-up underscores his physical unfitness for military service. The situation is complicated further when Lee's father appears on the screen, criticizing his son for not maintaining better control over the use of mobile phones with the restricted army base. The strained relationship between father and son is evident. Seizing this opportunity, Caillou and Tarzan make their escape, leaving the confrontation behind. Soon after, Caillou and Tarzan reveal their shared desire to obtain medical leave. This aim springs not from any legitimate sickness or impairment, but from mutual disinterest in military life. They stand out amongst their more dedicated peers as they openly express their longing for a more relaxed lifestyle, filled with parties and the company of women. To accomplish their goal of securing a medical leave, they head to the infirmary, aware that they need to leave their weapons outside as they're not permitted inside the medical facilities. They discard their guns in a grass field without even a second thought and step into the infirmary, a scene of genuine illness causing them a moment's discomfort. To expedite their scheme, they approach Chua, an infirmary receptionist, hoping to bypass the queue and secure their false medical leaves effortlessly. When asked about their health issues, Caillou cites a fall during his chin-up session, diarrhea, and fever, while Tarzan claims to be suffering from depression. Their plan is hindered, however, when they are informed they must wait their turn, like everyone else. During their wait, a nurse enters the scene to evaluate Caillou's condition. Determining that he is not, in fact, sick, she invites Caillou to join her for drinks at the canteen, a suggestion he hesitates to accept due to their age difference. At this moment, the nurse's daughter, Xiao Ling, appears, drawing the immediate attention of all the young soldiers present. Xiao coats herself liberally in mosquito repellent to combat the base's mosquito infestation, despite her mother's caution regarding its harmful effects. Although her mother seems intent on setting Xiao up with a fellow soldier, Xiao displays no interest in the men around her. Seizing an opportunity, Caillou steals Xiao's mosquito repellent, planning to use it on his own eyes to feign a serious condition and secure his medical leave. His plan, however, is seen by Commander Lee, who escorts him to Dr. Yap for an evaluation. Surprisingly, the doctor approves Caillou's medical leave, stating that the inflammation in his eyes could potentially lead to paralysis. Lee is visibly frustrated, suspecting Caillou's deceptive plot, but is pacified by Yan, who insists that regardless of the means, Caillou's situation is now severe. In the following sequence, the narrative takes a terrifying turn as Dr. Yap is explaining Caillou's self-inflicted eye inflammation. A new patient is brought in. It's Chow, the soldier who was attacked by the zombie in the movie's opening scene. Dr. Yap instructs a trainee medic to perform CPR on Chow. However, due to his lack of experience, he's directed to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. In an unsettling twist, Chow abruptly transforms into a zombie and bites the medic, starting a domino effect of infection throughout the infirmary. In the ensuing chaos, the newly infected medic approaches Caillou but is repelled by the mosquito repellent coating Caillou's skin. Shifting his attention to Tarzan, the zombie medic inadvertently provides Caillou with the opportunity to escape. Commander Lee fights off a zombie while safeguarding Xiao by concealing her in a closet. Caillou and Lee then lock themselves in the dispensary, safe for the time being from the zombie rampage outside. The fleeting moment of calm doesn't last, however, as they discover a zombie in the room. They battle the creature, eventually restraining it with a chair and some rope. In a bid to contact outside help, Lee asks Caillou for his confiscated phone, but it's no longer in Caillou's possession. As they scan the scene outside, Lee expresses his intention to rescue Xiao, but Caillou advocates caution over impulsiveness. Employing a quick-thinking strategy, Caillou uses his flashlight to trigger the zombie's attention, and then places the light into the bound zombie's mouth to distract the others. This diversion provides them with the opportunity to rescue Xiao. The newly formed trio manages to escape the infirmary, only to discover that the entire army base has been overrun by zombies. Seeking refuge, they scramble into a nearby truck. Caillou attempts to jumpstart the vehicle, but is unsuccessful. In the midst of their struggle, a soldier pleads for them to let him into the truck. Paralyzed by fear, Caillou's unable to act, and the soldier's tragically consumed by the zombie mob. Soon after, Caillou manages to regain his composure and honks the truck's horn, successfully diverting the zombie's attention and granting the trio an opportunity to flee. They seek cover in the grass, observing that some zombies still mindlessly perform their regular patrolling routines. However, an unintentional noise from Caillou alerts a nearby zombie. Thinking quickly, Caillou retrieves a rifle that he and Tarzan had stashed earlier in the grass. As the zombie advances, Lee subdues the creature and instructs Caillou to fire at it. Overcome by fear, Caillou's unable to pull the trigger, prompting Lee to intervene. Lee's shot, however, misfires, alerting the other zombies and triggering a pursuit. The trio sprints towards an obstacle course, pursued by the slow-moving zombies. They manage to gain some distance, allowing them to reach a hideout where they can find Xiao's mother, Dr. Yap, Chua, and another survivor. Tragically, the survivor has been bitten. In a panic, Chua threatens the infected individual, shooting him in the leg when he attempts to flee. The situation escalates as more zombies converge on the hideout's entrance. Fearing contamination, Chua proposes segregating Xiao, her mother, Lee, and the infected survivor from the uninfected individuals by putting them inside a cage. Under pressure, they follow through with this plan. Xiao and the infected survivor were placed in the same cage, while Xiao's mom and Lee were put in another one. As the scenario unfolds, Chua and Dr. Yap decide that escaping by car with the seemingly uninfected Caillou is their best chance of survival. In a twist of events, Caillou, refusing to abandon his friends, turns on Dr. Yap, holding a knife to his neck and demanding Chua hand over the keys to the cages. Concurrently, the infected survivor begins his terrifying transformation into a zombie, causing chaos in the holding cell. However, Xiao, coated in mosquito repellent, is ignored by the transformed zombie, who instead charges at her mother and Lee. Amidst the chaos, Chua seizes an opportunity to hurl the cage keys towards the door where a relentless horde of zombies is banging. With a swift motion, he throws the keys towards the door while pressing a button to open the hideout entrance. This strategic move lures the encroaching zombies inside, successfully cornering Caillou and diverting his focus away from Dr. Yap. The plan proves successful as Dr. Yap and Chua seize the moment to escape to safety. Left in a life-or-death dilemma, Caillou must make a quick decision. Will he save himself by running away from the invading zombies, or will he risk everything to help his friends? Caillou opts for heroism over self-preservation. Rather than fleeing, he races towards the oncoming zombies, retrieves the cage keys, and locks himself into the cage containing Lee and Xiao's mother, barely escaping the grasping hands of the zombies. The unexpected strains of the national anthem singing flag-lowering time halts the zombie assault. The creatures stand at attention, seemingly due to residual military discipline. Seizing the moment, our quartet escapes the cages, only to discover Dr. Yap's lifeless body in a crashed car nearby. In parallel, an injured Chua fights a losing battle against zombie Chow, who being deaf is unaffected by the anthem. Despite Chua's attempts to fend him off, zombie Chow proves to be an insurmountable adversary. As the anthem ceases, the zombies rouse from their temporary stasis. Among the awakened undead, Caillou recognizes a transformed Tarzan. Frozen in fear, Caillou becomes a prime target for zombie Tarzan, saved only by the self-sacrifice of Xiao's mother. Lee, armed with a rifle from the car crash, retaliates against Tarzan, allowing the group to find refuge in another hideout. However, their safety is short-lived as Xiao's mother succumbs to her wounds, transforming into a zombie just as Xiao mourns her loss. Caillou makes the heartbreaking decision to end Xiao's mother's zombie existence by shooting her, further increasing the emotional toll on the group. Night falls on the besieged army base, now overrun by the zombie horde. The team, sitting in silence, finds themselves without a plan or any hope of salvation. But Caillou and Lee grapple with guilt and self-doubt. Caillou blames himself for Tarzan's transformation, while Lee is burdened by his perceived incompetence as a commander. In the midst of despair, a spark of hope ignites in the form of a strategic plan. Their survivors intend to broadcast the national anthem from the HQ room, exploiting the zombies' residual military discipline to temporarily immobilize them. However, they face another hurdle. They're out of mosquito repellent, which has been effective in deterring the zombies. Caillou humorously suggests rubbing themselves on Xiao for protection, only to realize she has left the hideout, armed and determined to execute the broadcast plan on her own. Despite her sweat potentially diminishing the effectiveness of the repellent, Xiao skillfully navigates her way to the broadcast room. Meanwhile, Caillou and Lee prepare for the ensuing battle. In an energetic montage, they gear up, taping their bodies as a makeshift protection against zombie bites. Once Xiao initiates the anthem from the radio, the zombies momentarily freeze, allowing Lee and Caillou to spring into action. However, their plan takes an unexpected turn when Chua, having narrowly escaped zombie Chow, attacks Xiao. Chua's curiosity aroused by Xiao's resistance to the zombies, not realizing it's merely due to the mosquito repellent. The ensuing struggle disrupts the radio broadcast, inadvertently changing the anthem to a different song. This abrupt change unfreezes the zombies, who turn their attention towards Lee and Caillou. The pair's taped armor provides temporary protection from the zombie bites, buying Xiao enough time to restore the anthem. Their survival hangs in the balance as the radio tunes oscillate amidst the ongoing chaos, testing the tenacity of Lee and Caillou. In an unexpected twist, a radio broadcast announces an imminent rescue operation via helicopter, instructing survivors to assemble at the Blue Bridge Gate. Chua, lured by Xiao's seeming immunity to the zombies, tries to force her to accompany him. In the ensuing battle, Xiao is thrown onto the radio, abruptly stopping the anthem, and thereby unleashing the frozen zombies onto Lee and Caillou. Battling an onslaught of zombies, the pair climb a flagpole for safety, yet the task proves challenging for Caillou. As one of the zombies starts to pull down the flag, the pole crashes against a building, leaving Lee perilously hanging below Caillou. Through Lee's encouragement, Caillou manages to perform a chin-up, not only saving himself, but also rescuing Lee. When they reach the broadcast room, they learn about Chua's plan to reach the Blue Bridge with Xiao. They hastily race to the scene, narrowly locking the pursuing zombies behind a fence. Upon reaching the bridge, they find Chua holding Xiao hostage. Chua, maintaining his aggressive stance, pushes Xiao against the fence, but thanks to the mosquito repellent, the zombies refrain from biting her. Lee, in an attempt to rescue Xiao, charges at Chua, but is shot in the process. Fortunately, his ID tag intercepts the bullet, saving him from a fatal wound. In the wake of an exhausting confrontation, Chua finds himself out of bullets, thus losing the only means of protection. His vulnerable state presents Caillou with the opportunity for a counterattack. Engaging in a battle of wits and strength, the face-off between the two is tense and filled with anticipation. Gradually, Caillou secures an advantage, turning the tide of the duel in his favor. This decisive moment leads up to Lee utilizing his remaining energy, delivering a powerful kick that definitively subdues Chua. With the immediate threat neutralized, Lee and Caillou swiftly act to reinforce their defenses against the looming zombie onslaught. They hurriedly soak themselves in mosquito repellent they find laying around, the distinct aroma forming a protective barrier just as the zombie horde edges closer. This shield proves successful in keeping the trio safe from the unrelenting zombies. However, Chua, lacking the protective repellent, inevitably succumbs to the zombie onslaught, providing a stark contrast to the survivor's fortune. In the midst of this turmoil, salvation appears in the form of a rescue helicopter, its rotors chopping through the dense air with a promise of escape. The pilot none other than Lee's father, bringing the chopper into position to evacuate the desperate team. As the film reaches its conclusion, a glimpse of hope permeates. In the face of a devastating outbreak, a determined military team, armed with newfound knowledge and resolve, embarks on a daring mission. Their goal: to rescue any remaining survivors, signifying humanity's relentless fight against the zombie apocalypse. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.